Welcome. It's the Matic. It's the illest blurred in the land. Welcome back to Ill Blur Matic. Welcome back to this community. Today I'm back with the actual TV series review. And I almost thought that this show was not coming back. 3 years, man. It's been 3 years. It's no other than Squid Game Season 2. Also, I did a review on Squid Game Season 1. And I'll leave that in the pinned comment for you guys to check out. But let's get into Season 2. So the first thing that I thought that was really working for the show is just the character development with Keon. Keon this time around is no longer carefree. He's not as, gullible, and just some other things about him as a character has drastically changed. We see that he acquired the wealth of $1 billion, but we see that Keon is haunted. Even though he won the previous Squid Game, he is haunted by the finalists, the last two other players or contestants of the Squid Game. He has reoccurring nightmares about them, pretty much. But also the other thing is that Keon is fueled by revenge. He's determined to get back into the Squid Game. We see that with the acquired wealth that he's got, he uses the money to fund a non-legit hotel business to find out where is the man in the business suit that is recruiting players to be a part of the Squid Game, and also the Soldier Guard. So I like in the first episodes, we see a much different Keon. Keon walked away from his own family, his daughter. He was going to go to America, start a new life, but he was fueled by the revenge. That's the only reason why he wants to come back to be a contestant in the Squid Game. Very interesting. Very parallel to one of the other characters in the show. Now, let's get into the next thing that I thought that was really interesting with this show that worked. Felt like it could have had maybe a couple more episodes, and I'll talk about that in my later part of my review on this, is the actual angles that this show was tackled. So we have Keon's story, right? Contestant 457. Then we have the detective that was on the island that found out that his older brother was still alive. I like that we learned what happened to him, the aftermath, once he came to the island and was almost killed by his brother, but was saved by an actual fisherman. We learned that he quit his job. He ended up getting a new job to probably get away from the trauma that he went through. He thought his older brother was dead. And also we learned about his family, what his family was like. His mother is still alive. His mother seems to favor the older brother over the younger brother. They come from a dysfunctional family. It seems like the mother doesn't really admire the younger son as much. Seemed like the older son was her favorite. The father, if you remember from season 1, was contestant 1. And we know that he died because he was on his deathbed. He did not survive. We saw him end up dying in the hospital. To me, maybe he was closer to the youngest son. We don't know that. They did not explore that layer of the story. Maybe in season 3. Hate to break it to y'all, but we get into season 3. They'll explore that angle. But I did like we learned a little bit more about his story. He's ambitious as Keon to find whichever island that his brother and these contestants are on, pretty much. And we see that him and Keon end up teaming up together to work together to shut down the Squid Game. So I do like that they eventually, their stories come together. That works. Now, the next person's story that was actually introduced, which was the Soldier Guard. We see the life of the Soldier Guard, the type of environment that the Soldier Guard is. You have to remember, the Soldier Guard from season 1 is no other. Dun, 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 dun. The pickpocketer young lady that was with Keon and his close friend it's no other her. She's still alive. They actually were able to bring her back to life. Now, with her being the only woman in the workforce, her being sexually harassed, abused, and her having to kill off contestants. That is the life that she chose. Also, the way that they get into this actual Squid Game, just like the contestants, is the same way for the soldier guards. People in the pink and black suits, just to let y'all know. And I like that they explored that story. Her not necessarily liking the job that she has to go through because she's the only woman in the workforce. Just imagine her being, you being at a job. And in particular, sex is the dominant one there. You're probably the one that's going to get the most picked on. You'll probably be the one that they're going to try to do things with. And we saw that with her story unfolding in season 2 and the things that she had to go through. You know what I'm saying? Constantly harassed, people making fun of her, what she does for a living. When the contestants are dead, they set the bodies on fire and everything. And I thought that was interesting that they show like just what they do on a daily basis. Them actually being surveillance, making sure that nothing is going on sneaky behind the scenes with the contestants, and that works. Now, the next thing that I thought that was very smart compared to season 1, adding an extra layer to the players or the contestants. Now, for me, I thought that was a really good idea. We see this season with Keon. Keon's another friend, Sungwoo. Sungwoo seems to be more loyal to Keon. Actually find out that that's actually his best friend too, by the way. And their character dynamics really work together. You can see that they're, ride or die. You know what I'm saying? That's his best friend. That's his buddy. That's the guy that's going to get the job done. He's also a Marine. There are other Marine characters as well in the show. We're introduced to a shaman character. We're introduced to a rapper, Thanos. We're introduced to a club bouncer that is one of Thanos' henchmen. We're introduced to a chick that is kind of like the rebellious type. We're introduced to a girlfriend, or a girl that's pregnant, and also her boyfriend. We're introduced to a mother and son character dynamic within the show. We're introduced to a character that had a sex change that was originally a man that wanted to be a woman. And we're also introduced to a group that's against Keon. Even though Keon is showing the players how to survive in Squid Game when it comes to certain things, we see that. The other thing that I thought was explored really well was the character dynamics. Some of the games was a team effort thing. And also we see that casualties, you're going to lose casualties. In order for people to win $1 billion, you're going to lose people. And we saw that within the show. I was like, oh boy. and people were worried because they were fueled by money. Keon's reason for being in the Squid Game was pretty much to shut it down. And unfortunately, Keon did not shut down the Squid Game. And also, I forgot to mention that there was another player, player 1. There was another player 1. Just like Keon was player 457, there was another player 1. And he was the antagonist. He is the son of the previous winner of the Squid Game, the old man. And Keon thought he was going to overthrow, you know what I'm saying, this system that they put in for this game. Not with player 1. Player 1 or contestant 1 was no other than the master of the ceremony, pretty much. And he shut that down. He killed off Keon's friend, Sungwoo. I'm like, boy, Keon, stay losing people, boy. I said, man, oh man. And Keon is actually being not necessarily arrested, but he's being stopped by the soldier guard. So him trying to overthrow the game, end the game, that was based on survival. He didn't. He failed at it. So I like the angle that was tackled. when it came down to it. It's like, hey, you know what? He was passionate, he was driven, but we see that Keon has yet failed again. Oh, man. Unbelievable. So let's get into the things I did not like about season 2. So I felt like season 2 killed me with the cliffhanger. Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I said, man, here we go again with cliffhangers. I was just like, I felt like season 2 was 7 episodes. I think season 1 was like either 9 or 10. They could have stretched it. I think they could have stretched it to like 11. Maybe 11 episodes or 10 episodes. Because some of the episodes were really lengthy for season 2 of Squid Game, and that really worked. But I was like, no. Why do y'all do this to me with TV shows sometimes? I get invested into a show, and then y'all hit us with a cliffhanger. You dropped the bomb on me, baby. Y'all show dropped the bomb on me with Squid Game season 2. I was not expecting that cliffhanger. Now, the other thing too that I disliked about this is contestant number 1. I felt like I wanted to learn a little bit more on what motivated him to create Squid Game, and how it started off. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was missing like that backstory from player 1, the new player 1. And I was like, that would have been great. And maybe they're saving it for season 3. All right. I could be right. Maybe they're saving it for season 3. They don't want to give it away just yet. And I was like, man, it'd been great to see like his angle. I mean, they already tackled the soldier guard, Keon, and also the detective that's his brother. But I would have liked to see what inspired him to create the Squid Games. There has to be some, man, we already know that he's obsessed with Korean childhood games. We already know that. But how did he get that money? Did the father give him the money? Or was he already wealthy before then? So that's something that was like, man, that could have been explored. The other thing that I felt that was pretty much a disappointment, the Soldier Guard story. I felt like towards the last remaining episodes, we were going to see the Soldier Guard that Keon, that was the final contestant right along with Keon from the previous season. And I was disappointed. I was like, man, I wanted to see more of her story kind of come out, and maybe even Keon finding out that she's still alive. You know what I'm saying? That was something where I'm like, y'all didn't really explore that. But those were my cons. They weren't really necessarily things that, you saw in the show. There were some things that I wish we would have saw more of. Am I right or wrong, right? But let's get into the actual review for Squid Game Season 2. So for Season 2, I would have to give this a 4.5 out of 5. Hopefully, Season 3 explores things that we didn't see in Season 2, because that is going to be the final season of the show. But it is a blur. Little more guys, thank you so much for commenting, liking, and subscribing. Also hitting the share, and also hit that bell to stay notified, guys. It is the hardest working blur on YouTube, guys. Thank you again for those who watch the videos and fully rock with your boy. It is gladly appreciated, and I am out, legends.